Everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk Ninjago. Today we are going over 5 things that I think need to happen in the final season of Dragons Rising for it to feel like a proper conclusion to this series that has been going for over 5 years at that point. As most of you know, I'm like 99% sure that season 5 is the final season of Dragons Rising. And in the world of pop culture like Dragons Rising, we know there's been a lot of controversial finales for things like Stranger Things and The Boys, stuff like that. So I think it's important to go over what we need to happen for this finale to not disappoint. And unfortunately, Ninjago does have a mixed history on finales. Obviously, you've got technically, what are the finales? Season 2 is technically a finale. I'd say that's a good finale. I would say season 10, March the Oni, is a finale. I'd say that's a good finale. And I would say Crystallizer's finale. I would say that's an extremely disappointing finale. So, Ninjago's track record is pretty good in terms of finales, but it really needs to nail it with Dragons Rising. Now, before we get into the first thing, I do want to say that some of these things do involve certain things happening in season 4 part 2 or early on in the season. I'll explain it once we get to it, but yeah, with that said, let's get into the first point, which is we need a full backstory of Raz's master, including his motives and his history with Raz shown through flashbacks. Now, this is a villain that's been brought up for the whole of Dragons Rising. We were first heard of Raz's master in the finale of season 1. So he's been there all along, and no spoilers, we need to know who he is. Now, I'm hoping that we see Raz's master for the first time at the end of season 4 part 2, because I think it's time by now. Like, we've had, at that point, 4 full seasons without even knowing who he is. I think it's time we know who he is. And my perfect scenario would be that maybe season 4 ends similar to part 1 did, where Raz goes back to his master, maybe with all the icons, and we see who Raz's master is finally, and it just cuts as soon as we see their face. And then maybe early on in season 5, we get the backstory of Raz's master, which we definitely need. I need to know how he's so powerful, because as you can see on the image of the left, Raz teleports up to talk to him. We also know that he can teleport massive objects to random places in the merge, which is a power we've seen no other character have. So we need to know who Raz's master is and why he's so powerful. I also want to see a bit of his history with Raz, maybe them working together, coming up with plans, stuff like that. It doesn't have to be major, but I want to see a bit more. And we'll get to it. I'm going to do a adjacent video to this of 5 things I don't need, but I need them to not betray. I need Raz to not be betrayed, which goes along with this. I need them to be working together. So we'll go more into that, not getting betrayed, in the next video. But yeah, I need a full backstory. I need to know his motives. And I also would like to know how is he the reason how Raz knows so many things. For example, Wu causing the merge and the Cauldron of Realms stuff like that. How does he have this much knowledge? Like, we need to know and understand who Raz's master is and why he's this powerful. I think that's probably the number one thing we need to know. We need a fully fleshed out villain. And yeah, with the second one, we need a climactic battle that involves both Raz and his master versus all the ninja, but I put Aaron, Sora, and Lloyd specifically because they are the main characters of Dragons Rising. And I also put them there mainly so I could remember that I need Aaron and Sora, or Lloyd, or all 3, or one of them, whatever. I need them to be the one that ends the fight. Similar to how Aaron did in Season 3 against Thunderfang. I need that to happen in the finale. I don't want it to be some random new character. This won't happen, but I don't want it to be, say, Zane maybe. You know what I mean? Like, when I say Zane, I want it to be one of the main characters. Obviously, Zane is a main character, but I need it to be these 3. Because they were who we were from the start. We started the show of Dragons Rising with Aaron. Then we were introduced to Sora straight away. Then Lloyd in the first episode. They were the only 3. They're the only 3 that are in every episode of Dragons Rising, I'm pretty sure. So we need it to end with them. And I need them to fight Raz and Raz's master together. Not being betrayed. and I need a climactic final battle. Maybe something involving Source Dragons. I didn't put too much detail here because we haven't even got part 2 of Season 4, so I just have no idea where this final season is going. I am assuming, it's because it's very likely that it's going to go Source Dragon-y, where the Source Dragons are involved somehow, and obviously we know Raz wants their power for something, and Raz's master does, so I think it's heavily likely that it does revolve around the Source Dragon somehow. But yeah, and with this, well, we'll get to that actually, that's not for this. Yeah, I just want a climactic final battle. I don't mind if there's not a death because it's a kid's show and we don't always get deaths in finales. We didn't in March the Oni. We didn't. Yeah, we haven't in any of them, others, actually. Yeah, I want a really good final battle that's like the full episode length that's been built up in the part 2 of season 5, if it is season 5. Yeah, I want that. Third one, I need, this is important as well, a clear explanation as why Wu caused the merge, his motives for it, and yeah, a clear explanation of his motives. What caused him to cause the merge? I also need to know why Raz has captured him here. What powers does Wu have with the merge? Like, there's a lot of questions. I need them answered. I need to know, obviously, why he caused the merge. Was it an evil? Was it like on purpose? Was it an attempt to stop it, which I'm guessing it was? Was it, why didn't he warn the ninja? I don't care too much about that specifically because that's just a flaw with Wu all along. But I would like to know, why does Raz have him captured? Is there a specific reason? Is Raz going to use him for something with the merge? And yeah, I just need all of this explained, why Wu did it, because it was such a big plot point, and it still is. They still mention it. Wu caused the merge. Why did Wu cause the merge? Can I forgive Wu for causing the merge? Aaron's still annoyed at Wu. Raz has captured Wu. Raz still has Wu captured in the end of part 1 of season 4. So clearly it means something. He doesn't just have him captured. So I need to know. I do want to know what happened to Wu. That's not my biggest concern though. I don't mind if we never see Wu in Dragons Rising, but I do need to know why he caused the merge. I think that's number 1. Along with the Raz's master backstory, but even then, I need this to happen. We need to know why, because it's such a big reveal in season 2, and it affected all the characters positively and negatively. I need to know why Wu caused the merge. I think that's a pretty clear one. I think this is what everyone has as an expectation and a need for Dragons Rising, and yeah, I'm hoping that happens. Next, for number 4, I have similar to the final battle thing, but this is mainly just for all of season 5. I need focus on Lloyd, Aaron, Sora, and Ryu. As you can see, I put this photo here from season 1 because it relates to these are the poster heads of Dragons Rising. Lloyd, Aaron, Sora, Ryu. You could argue not really Ryu, but he's there, who cares. I am obviously more talking about Lloyd, Sora, and Aaron, but I do think Ryu needs to get more development, and I think he will, because they clearly showed that they're going to put more effort with into Ryu's story in season 4 part 1, and I think they're going to continue that. And there are the rumors of a big Ryu set. I think there's the rumors. I think there is this. I do think Ryu's probably going to become a Source Dragon, so yeah, that we need focus for that if that's happening. I need definitive endings for all of these characters, their arcs wrapped up. I think a big part of Sora's arc is going to get wrapped up in season 4, which is her relationship with her parents. I think the stuff with Frack needs to be wrapped up a little bit, just like a conclusion to it. With Aaron, there's not really much to his arc that needs to be wrapped up, apart from maybe him just becoming, quote-unquote, the greatest ninja, because that was set up in season 1. Lloyd saying he had potential to be the greatest ninja. I think that's been building to that. That also relates to the second point, that Aaron kind of needs to be the one to win it all, because that would carry out his arc of the self-doubt and then finally being the one to help them win it all. I think that matters a lot. And for Lloyd, I just want to see a conclusion specifically to his Master Lloyd arc. I do feel like it's sort of stopped a bit. It was heavy season 1 and 2. Like that was all about Master Lloyd, along with the like panic attack, anxiety attack things with the visions, the Source Dragon visions. But that was the main Lloyd story. Like Master Lloyd, we're getting Master Lloyd. How's he going to train these students? His mistakes as a master, him sort of comparing himself to Wu. I want to see that arc wrapped up. Maybe in the end he's not a ninja anymore and he takes the place of Wu. Something like that. I need to see definitive endings to all the arcs for these characters, and I need to see them being highlighted in the season. Obviously, I do still want highlighted like moments with Jay and Nia and Kai and Wildfire and Frack and Cole and Zane. But these four need to be the focus of the final season. I think that's pretty obvious. And then, how many do we have? We got one more? Yeah. I need every loose end wrapped up and a definitive ending to Dragons Rising. Now, I did put in brackets here. That doesn't necessarily mean a reversing of the merge, because I do still like the idea of the merge, and I think there's more to work off if we keep the lands together. I just think it's interesting. Maybe the merge can't be reversed, and maybe they just come to the decision that what's best for everyone is that it stays merged. So the world stays merged. I don't need the world to be the merge to be reversed for me to feel satisfied, I think. But as you can see with these photos, basically I want, like I feel like every season has, a finale at the monastery. I don't need a character death, but yeah, we need a definitive ending. I want every loose sort of tie wrapped up. I want every sort of question that we have wrapped up. Not all, like I didn't need the administration wrapped up because I just think that's too big to do in a final season. But like all the character arcs, stuff like that, I need wrapped up. Definitive endings. Yeah, I just want a nice definitive ending to Dragons Rising that's satisfying for all the characters. And basically, redo of Crystallized, but way better, I think. Not redo of Crystallized, but you know what I mean. Like, the ending of Crystallized, you watch it and you're just it's a bit flat. Like, you got the random song. It's not even the Weekend Whip. And yeah, I just want a definitive ending to Dragons Rising that is conclusive, makes sense, and is satisfying for the 5 years at least that we've been watching this show for. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. With that said, leave a comment if there's anything I forgot or didn't mention. I am going to be doing next week a reverse of this video, so dive things that I don't want to happen in the final season of Dragons Rising. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and goodbye.